This week brings the return of the Texas Tribune Festival in Austin. The annual event has become an essential stop for key players in Texas politics and also for the people on the national political stage. We are an official partner of the festival, which kicks off Thursday in downtown Austin. Texas Tribune co-founder and CEO Evan Smith joins us now. You've made some big changes, and some of them involve bringing the public in a little bit more.
Well, that's absolutely true. One of the biggest changes that I think in the 8 years of the festival we'll see this year is the move off of the University of Texas campus to the streets and the venues of downtown Austin. We will be literally in the shadow of the Capitol. Feels appropriate since we're talking about so much of what happens inside that building. And the festival will have on Saturday, the 29th of September, a free component to it. We've never done this before. We are going to close down Congress Avenue between 11th and 8th Streets. We're going to have tents. We're going to have free programming. We call it Open Congress. This is our attempt at adding a free street festival alongside the paid portion of it. And we'll have several dozen programs over the course of that day, big political names, serious and important conversations, and we're just really excited to be able to welcome more people into a conversation that everybody in Texas ought to be having.
Yeah, is that the big reason behind bringing in this free event?
Josh, I know you know this. We live in a country where more and more people are activated, animated about politics, and more people want a place to go and be part of a conversation about the priorities that affect them, elections that affect them, big issues. They've got elections coming up in November, a legislative session in Texas coming up next year. The 2020 presidential race has practically started already. So all of those strains coming together under literally 3 tents on Congress Avenue. People will be able to have a place to go to listen to one another, to people they agree with and people they don't, which is my favorite part, when people who don't agree listen to one another.
Right.
And to be active participants in a conversation about these big things.
You always have some big names every year.
We do.
Who are we looking at this year?
Well, I would say on the national front, we've got a lot of national politicians who are looking in the mirror every day and seeing a potential president of the United States staring back. We have a double-digit number of people who are thinking about making a race for president in 2020. Now, of course, the news moves very quickly. We both know that. You don't know what's going to happen next week, let alone you know, in 2020. I mean, at this point, you can't predict anything. But on the assumption that things are normal-ish, there's going to be a presidential race in 2020. I think we can probably assume that. And there'll be candidates competing over the next 2 years for that. And we have a number of those, everybody from former Attorney General Eric Holder to Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper to Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, even retiring Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, who was one of the most consistent Republican critics of a president in his own party. But you know what? We also have a lot of state politics to sort through, with the session just over the rise in January. And so we have a lot of state leaders, Republican and Democrat, talking about the big things that we care about here in Texas. And
Beto O'Rourke is your closing keynote, but it happens, you know, right before the lead up to the Willie Nelson concert on in Auditorium Shores.
Right.
It's going to get a little crazy.
Well, our event will be smoke-free, unlike I expect Willie's event. Look, we had hoped actually to have a debate, a general election debate between Senator Cruz and Congressman O'Rourke as the close of our festival. We invited both campaigns to participate. We could not make that work out. Senator Cruz and the congressman will be debating the next night. I will get an opportunity to sit down with the congressman and talk through this campaign, which, let's be honest, has not only captured the attention of people in Texas, but all over the country. Doesn't mean he's going to win. It does mean that people are paying attention. Now, as the Republicans are happy to point out, the people in New York and San Francisco who are enchanted with Beto O'Rourke, like he's a Beatle, like he's the fifth Beatle, those people don't vote in Texas. So all that national attention, let's see what it adds up to.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Me too. Me too.
All right. It's not too late to register for the festival. It starts Thursday in downtown Austin. You can find details online at texastribune.org. Evan Smith, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Josh. All right.